go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Athlete and Artist Show. I am the artist, Kyle Forch, alongside the athlete, professional hockey player, Zach Boychuk. Today, a special guest on the episode. He's a former captain of the RPI NCAA Division I hockey program. He's a Pittsburgh Penguin draft pick, an expert gambler, and the current host of the Spittin Chiclets Game Notes. Please welcome Mr. Matt Murley. How you doing, man?
All right, went way back there with the RPI captain. I like that.
Hey, I mean, it's all relevant right now. That's a big thing we want to talk about on the episode since you're an NCAA guy. I mean, we can kick it off with that if you guys want to. I mean, the NCAA changing the eligibility requirements, allowing major junior players to play Division I college hockey. I mean, what are your thoughts on that from a guy that played Division I hockey?
Yeah, I absolutely love it because I made that hard decision I think I was 16 years old, and you had to decide if you're going to go to the OHL or if you're going to go to college. I played junior tier 2 with my good friend Tim Conley. He was a little bit younger, but he was going to go number 5 in the OHL draft to the Erie Otters, and they were going to take me in the second round to keep us paired up together, but they weren't going to use the second round pick on me if I went to college. So I'll never forget it. The night before the draft, I'm on the phone with Sherry Basson, and it was back in call waiting. Shows how old I am. But I clicked over, and it's the RPI coach. He knows what's going on. He knows the draft's tomorrow, and he's all over me. He's like, "Don't commit to them. Like we need you here." Blah blah blah. So I was going back and forth with them, and it was a really hard decision at 16 years old. You got to plan out your whole future. So I think this is going to be great. In my position, I would have gone to the OHL because I already did the 1 year of tier 2. I would have gone to the OHL, tested it out. If I did well, then boom, I'm probably getting drafted with Conley in the first round of the same NHL team too. Or if I stink, it's not for me, then boom, I would have went back to RPI. So I think it's great. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, for me, I would have loved the opportunity just to go there when I was like 18 or 19, kind of in between, because I knew I wasn't ready for the NHL. So now that guys have that opportunity, like in the WHL, you get drafted when you're 14, and it just seems to be way too young for guys. But that might be the future. Like the OHL might have to change things around. I think all the CHL teams are going to be a lot younger, and especially if you have guys leaving at 18, 19 to go play college, which is definitely better for the development, I think.
Yeah, because I remember like I was at your first camp in Carolina. You were first round pick. You came in and you would have probably been another different situation. Yeah, you go to the college instead because you already done everything you could at WHL, not ready for NHL, but you weren't allowed to play in the AHL, right? Because you were
Yeah,
18. So yeah, that would have been, yeah, go play at Michigan for a year against some older guys because the WHL you've done already. That's another
for
nice. I didn't
sure.
even think about
I,
it that way.
I think that would help a lot for guys that are
Yeah.
kind of in betweeners. And, you look at guys that are 16 playing against 20-year-olds, like that's another conversation. Like those guys probably shouldn't even be playing junior hockey. But like for you, I would love to see you come up to the Canadian junior and rip it up with Tim Connolly. And
Yeah.
but did they have like USHL back then, or is it kind of before? Did that come by after?
Yeah, they had USHL, but it wasn't like it is now where basically you have to play in the USHL to go to college. It was back then, and that was our parents didn't really want us moving too far away. So that's why they started our junior team in Syracuse for us, and they got us in that Toronto league so we could keep developing. It kept us from having to go to prep school or USHL. It kept us closer to home.
Yeah, I think they should combine the two leagues somehow, make like a super league, like put it all together, put all the best players. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
kids
The
are in high
travel will be
school
tough.
and stuff
Yeah.
and moving away from home, but there's a lot of stuff that's going to go down and change, it seems like this year.
There's been talk
Yeah, it's
about
wild.
like the BCHL joining the USHL for a couple of years now, and I know there are rumblings of teams from the MJ, the Manitoba Junior A League, joining the NAL, the North American Hockey League, and doing like a North Division. So like it'll be interesting to see what happens with Junior A as a whole in Canada, like especially with the new partnership between the WHL and the AJ, the SJ, and the MJ, and now BC's kind of just on their own island out of Hockey Canada now. So it'll be interesting to see if BC really takes a hit and if they if they do try to join the USHL or what happens there. But I think that there's going to be a lot of guys that now shy away from the BCHL, where the last 2 years there's been a lot of guys leaving Hockey Canada to go play there. But now, since guys are, I think it's going to be more of like an affiliate farm system between Junior A and the WHL, or out east the OHL and their junior leagues, where guys will go like up and down throughout the lineup depending on how they play, and they'll still have that opportunity to go to the NCAA.
I think it's going to help like the smaller schools like RPI, Union that are in my hometowns.
Sure.
They're smaller. They don't have the football money or the basketball money that you see like UMass or Michigan have. So now they can maybe find a diamond in the rough a little bit easier, get one of these guys from the O or the Dub and something like that, and bring them in and stay competitive with those top end teams.
That's another thing too is
RPI wasn't giving you any money on the sides, the little paper bag cash money like apparently some of the other schools used to back in the day.
No, they paid for my books, and that was about it because I was a big prospect. But most of the guys were paying their books. That's about all I got.
They just extended. I think actually going into next year, they're increasing the amount of scholarships that the hockey programs are allowed to give out. So now it's going to be the full 26-man roster instead of just 18. So that'll help too, especially for maybe like the smaller schools, like you said, or getting some of these guys out there. Because I know there's been a lot of guys that like depth guys that they couldn't get from out here because the guys would have had to pay themselves. Like I've had a couple players in the past of teams that I scouted for, like they weren't good enough to get the full ride, but they would have been great depth players on the team, but their families just didn't have the money to go pay for them to play out there.
Yeah, I know our team used to do a lot of that. They would give you half scholarships or 3 out of 4 years to try to like to get us another roster player. Two
Right.
guys would split one or put 3 extra ones together. It was a whole thing. So at least that will be gone for them.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this entire situation. I like from the scouting side too. We've always hated the Dub. I've always scouted Junior A. So it's always been, one, you're trying to get guys to go to the Junior A program. 2, you're trying to keep them out of the Dub because the WHL is committing guys at 15 to keep them out of the NCAA. So it's just been this giant clusterfuck of like recruitment and trying to figure out the directions to go. And now it's going to be even more interesting from the Junior A standpoint. Like, hey, now who are we recruiting, and which guys are coming down, which guys are going to leave us halfway through the year or next year or whatever. So it's going to be kind of like the same with the USHL. Like, hey, these guys might leave us to go to the USHL or the Dub next year, and now we have to recruit more guys.
Yeah. Just nightmare for those coaches. Oof.
But I think overall good for hockey, especially at the NCAA level. I never liked that the major junior guys weren't allowed to go, and now I think it's just going to increase the quality of hockey in general, I think. But it would have been cool to see a guy like Cale Makar. I mean, he ripped up Junior A like for Brooks I'm pretty sure they were. I can't confirm it, but I'm pretty sure they were paying him a little bit under the table. Brooks is always greasing guys under the table, but seeing him play in the Dub, like, it would have been cool to see what he could have done there. I mean, Bedsy wouldn't have been a guy that would have gone because he obviously went straight to the show. But having like you said, having those guys that take the extra year to get to the NHL rather than sending them back to junior, having them play a year or 2 in college would be cool to see. Yeah, what about while we're on that topic, Murls, you were a guy that didn't wear a visor in pro. So I mean that's I thought that was kind of funny coming out of NCAA, where you're wearing a full cage. Do you think the NCAA is ever going to change that ruling? I mean, I know it's an insurance thing, but do you think they'll ever go to visor, especially now that they are allowing the major junior guys to come in?
I feel like if it hasn't happened yet, it's not going to happen at all. But that just shows how old I am that I could wear no visor. But that was also the way back then. Now you'll see college kids get drafted in the first round and get thrown on the first lines, and it's not a big deal anymore. Back then, if you came from college, you were considered a little soft. Maybe you were, you didn't like the rough stuff. So the first thing I did, first training camp, no visor, went out and fought the first scrimmage to put all those things away. Because back then it was the soft guys, the Europeans were wearing the half shields. Anybody else was soft. Now you got, soon as Crosby came in and was wearing the half ear shields or whatever you want to call them, those are cool now. So it just completely changed and show how old I was that I was going no visor.
There's not many guys left in the league now. I think maybe like 5 or 10 max. I think I
they look
could
so
have done
funny
it,
when you see them now.
Oh,
Like
that's
it's
crazy.
like Ryan O'Reilly's one is one of the few left, and he's so funny looking when you see it with no visor. It's wild.
Jamie Benn, I think he's my
Yeah.
age. He's still got one, but
Revo.
yeah, there's not Revo. Yeah,
It might
some
be
of the
like
I'll
fighters.
say
Balthazar.
when it was actually I think it was in Albany. My first year I had to wear it. I want to say it was Albany, and I loved it because I was getting these high sticks that would come and hit the visor here, and I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
that's nice. That used to be 2 or 3 zips. It's nice. I was like, why didn't I wear this the whole time?
Yeah, it's funny how the culture is changing. I mean, I definitely think in terms of like hitting, the game's getting a little bit softer, but I personally don't mind the visors. I mean, what do you guys think like going into the league now? Would you rather not wear the visor? Like Chuck, you were a visor guy. Would you rather take it off or keep them on, or
I had the choice and I decided to keep it on just because I
you
was
did have the
wearing it
choice?
for 4 years in junior, and I had seen a couple guys get some eye injuries and stuff, and just made me think, if I'm used to it, might as well keep wearing it. But I see what Murls says, like coming from college, you don't want to be that soft guy, and
Yeah,
pretty smart move. Carved out a pretty good career after that, eh, Murls?
Yeah, it worked. It worked out all right, but yeah, I would definitely just wear the visor now. It wouldn't. I same as you. I've had some buddies with some eye injuries, and it didn't
Well, now
matter. You
now we
can
have to
you
wear
can be
neck
tough without it.
guards and
Yeah.
earpieces and everything, so it's completely gone the opposite direction.
And that's what the more protection, the better. Like now I have my helmet that I wear in like beer league and it has the full earpieces in it because when I went over and played in Japan, me and my buddy Ryan Caldwell were there and we were doing, I think, a penalty kill drill the first day. And kind of in practice, you just go down to block the shot, you get in the lane, the guy won't shoot it, right? Because you're laying like you're there. Nope, these guys just ripped the puck and one like zipped right by, like touch called his ear. He's like, that's it. Went right in, put the earpieces in. He's like, I don't need an extra injury while I'm over in Japan playing hockey. I was like, yeah, you're right. Put mine right in. And as much protection as you can get, I suggest it. There's other ways to show you're tough nowadays.
I think even in beer league, I'd be considering like putting a cage on. Like guys are just so reckless with their sticks, and a lot of guys don't even have insurance. So if you get some type of injury playing beer league, like you might be on the fence for like over a year in Canada with the healthcare here.
Yeah, I say it
yeah,
every time I go out there. I have a cage. I keep forgetting to put it on. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do it next skate. Next skate, I'm putting the cage on because it is worse because guys aren't great skaters. They're falling over, sticks are going to see. And I played last year in Fair Park, and guy got one right here. He
oof,
ends up spending 3 hours in the emergency room getting the stitches. At 11 o'clock at night. The rest of us are at the bar drinking. It's not worth it.
yeah. Guys are a couple pops deep too, probably. So they're
Oh,
extra. They're a little reckless out there, on top of not being able to skate too.
absolutely.
It's like you mentioned Japan. You've played all around the world, which is
Mhm.
had to be a crazy experience for you. Where was your favorite place to play besides obviously North America in the NHL?
Yeah, it's funny as when I first went over to Russia, I kind of joked about that. I was like, oh, I kind of want to play everywhere in the world. I'll play here, there. I never imagined I would end up in Croatia and Slovakia and then obviously Japan and South Korea. That was wild. Never in my wildest dreams, but my favorite one is definitely Sweden. It was the most like North America. Everyone speaks really good English as their second language. The hockey is really good. You almost feel like you're in a mini NHL. There's tons of media coverage, full arenas. It was really special to play here. The favorite country would be Japan though. It was such a wild experience. It was so different than anything else where Sweden, Germany, Austria, Finland, it's all white people, for the most part. You feel normal. When we went to Japan, we were the only white people in the whole city. Kids are coming up and touching my wife's blonde hair. They'd never seen blonde hair, and it just felt totally different. The culture was amazing. It felt so safe, and it was just a tremendous place to live. The people were incredible.
Japanese people are
Was
super
there?
respectful too.
Oh,
Oh
they're the
yeah.
best. Bowing you at everything. I was the
Yeah,
oldest guy in the team, so I had what did they used to call me? No, not senpai or something. They had a name for me because I was the oldest guy. So I got to make every decision on everything. Like senpai. I forget what it was. I should know this by now. I think it was senpai, and I
senpai.
got to decide everything because I was the oldest guy. It was great.
Was there a lot of English there? Or was it similar to Russia, like where there's nothing at all? You need a translator and coaches. Like what language did they speak?
Yeah, it was awesome in Japan. We had our own translator for the three imports, and his only job was us three. So he would take us to the grocery store, show us what things were what. He would be on the ice and for practice. He could barely skate, but he would be on the ice skating around, translating for us not only what the coach said, but like with our line mates. He would stand on the bench so we could communicate with everything. And then the
No
best
way.
part, this guy was a beauty. The best part is he'd come out to the bars with us. So we could go have team parties with these players that weren't great in English. And I would say something translator, he'd translate it back, and he would do it all night long. We'd all be dying laughing. It was so awesome.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
they do everything right over there in Japan. The
That's
food,
cool,
oh,
man.
the food was amazing. Like, it was the food, hotels, you get your own room on the road. These meals they would have for it was almost like playing in the NHL. We flew everywhere, not private, but you flew everywhere. It was everything was first class. It was really cool.
What was your favorite part about Japan?
Yeah, I mean the people were
People?
were awesome. Like the guys were so nice. Like with the what you could talk to them, but just going to a store, the people they bowing, they run to get you everything. Everybody was just so nice, and the sushi, the ramen,
Yeah.
obviously. Oh, it was something else. I That's where I tell everybody to go if they need a vacation and they want to do something different. Go to Japan, go to Tokyo, or even go to the smaller cities. It's really something special.
Were you in a bigger city or a smaller city, or how did it kind of compare?
Yeah, we were in a real small city outside Sapporo. It was
Okay.
called Tomakomai, but that's Sapporo's that little island up on the north. A lot of people go there to ski and everything. So we were in a smaller town there, but it was really cool, and which I want the NHL to start trying to do is we would all meet in Tokyo. The four Japanese teams, we would meet in Tokyo and we would play each other. We'd play each other one time. So with three games, we'd all stay in like the same hotel. So we got to see the other imports, have beers with them. And the games counted as regular season games. So it was just, we got to go to a different town, different rank, different fans. It was really cool. So
Was
that's
that
something
like
I think
three
the
games
NHL
and
should do. What's
would
that?
they do that in a week or what was that like
It
just
was
on the
just like a
weekend? You
weekend,
play
like
three
Friday,
games,
Saturday, Sunday, three games, three nights,
bang it
and
out.
three afternoons. It was basically always afternoon games, which gave you plenty of time after. Every hotel there had vending machines with beers in them. It was the best. So you just right on your floor, go hit the vending machine, couple beers, pop out.
That's
Japan was
awesome.
Japan was sweet. But
How
I
was
think the
the
NHL could do this if in because last year in Stockholm they had the global series here and
Mhm.
they had the four teams over here and they played four games. It was so cool. So imagine the NHL doing that in Houston or something or Kansas City where there's not NHL teams already. Get four teams to come in there, even two or three, and play each other. I think it'd be so cool to be in different cities for the players as well as the fans.
Yeah, that would be really cool if the NHL did
Yeah.
something like that. How was the quality of hockey in Japan?
It wasn't great. See, I usually compare it to the Swedish second league here,
Okay.
where I don't know, it's hard to compare to the US because they're real small players,
Yeah.
really fast, we're really well trained. The hockey sense wasn't great. So being a bigger guy, I was older, slower, but I could still hold these guys off and I kind of knew where to go more than them, was the reason I was able to be successful. But yeah, it's pretty good hockey, very skilled, very hardworking. Just they don't have the size and the hockey sense to compete at the higher like Swedish or German or Switzerland leagues.
There are more and more Asian players, I think, coming out though, like in terms of getting to the higher leagues, especially crossing over to North America. Like even looking at their international squads, like they're getting better. It seems every few years, and it's nice to see the sport growing out there.
Yeah, they did a lot when South Korea was hosting the Olympics there. So they knew that, I think, 8 years before. So they committed a lot of Canadian guys, actually. They had to come and play for the 6 years before, and they were going to give them the passports
Oh,
because at the
okay.
time, the NHL players were supposed to play in that Olympics. So if they put up just the Korean guys, they would have got really destroyed. So they got these six Canadian guys to come over and commit to playing in the Asian League, and they all got the passports. So they were everything was building up to that, and then the China one. So China was building too. They never really got off the ground there with that team, but they were trying for those years to build it up. COVID hurt it a lot, the Asian League, because when I played in it, we had a
Yeah.
Russian team, four Japanese, three Korean, and a China, and now it's kind of shrunk to I think 4 Japanese and 1 South Korea. So
Okay.
it's kind of struggling right now.
We kind of talked about this before we started recording, but since both of you guys have played overseas and the AHL in North America and the NHL, we talked about how it's so much easier to go overseas to Europe and to those places as a North American import than it is for those guys coming over here. Do you guys want to talk about like that experience and how easy it was to go over there and how everything is just kind of taken care of and made super simple for you guys and how it could be better over here?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can go first. It wasn't so easy when I first went to Russia my first year, because this was before Netflix and
Oh yeah.
before FaceTime. iPhones must have just came out. So I remember I used to have the big book of the DVDs. Remember those big black books you used to have to carry around?
Yeah.
So you flew over with one of those, and it was fun because you would run into imports when you played them, and you would trade the DVDs because you could only watch Friends so many times or Seinfeld so many times, and you would swap out with stuff like that. But what we were saying is it's nice how they have the apartments and the car set up for you. You go over there with just a hockey bag full of clothes, and everything's done for you. It's really nice.
Did you run into any money problems when you were there? Like I know my 2 years or 3 years I was in Russia. I don't think I got one paycheck on time. So
No, it never on time. And I was over there. It was '09. There was the big crash, like market crash. So every day the ruble was just getting destroyed. I think I went over, it was 25 rubles to make a dollar. And by the time I left, it was 90 rubles to make a dollar.
Ooh.
So you can do the math on that when you sign your contract and you're getting paid in rubles. It wasn't ideal. And then they're coming late. So you're like, it's like, dude, it's dropping every day. Like, pay us, pay us. Then you'd finally get that text that it was in there, and you would transfer it to US as quickly as you could. But eventually got all my money from there. I had bigger problems in Slovakia later on.
Bratislava.
Yeah. Did you end up playing there too?
I waited 2 years for my first paycheck from Bratislava.
Yeah, it sounds about right from there. And I was the same thing there. When the year I was there, I signed, it was 130 euros. And by the time I left, it was like 1.05 for like a dollar. It was just I got screwed twice. 2 years I had good contracts KHL. It was 2 years of market crashes. But yeah, Bratislava is the worst. They still owe me money.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I told my agent at the time. That he wanted money from me, and I was like, buddy, like when I get paid, you can get paid, or you can just go take whatever they owe me, and we'll just call it even. So I don't know if he ever got it out of him either.
Jeez.
Yeah, they're a mess.
Are they like mob ran down there too? Or is it just greasy?
I think the money was coming from Russia. I think it was coming from
okay.
Gazprom. As that was their whole thing. Was they're trying to move through Europe with Gazprom. They had Croatia, we had Zagreb, Slovakia, Latvia, and they were trying to get all through Europe. It never happened.
Wow.
Beautiful rink though, in Bratislava. One of the best rinks and locker room setups I've ever been a part of. Better than some NHL teams. It was sick rink.
Did they have the Russian gas there too?
Yeah, great city. Great city. I lived most of the year at the DoubleTree Hotel connected to the rink. So come in every day, you get the warm cookie from the front desk. Oh,
that's awesome.
Loved it.
Nice fresh made omelet in the morning.
Yeah, I loved it there. Besides not getting paid.
A side of Russian gas with your omelet and cookie.
Yeah. Exactly.
Boys, have you guys watched the Amazon Prime Face Off series?
Yeah, I think I'm on to the last episode now. So
yeah,
it's really been good. It's fun. I can't believe McDavid agreed to do it. I haven't seen much on him in media. Usually it's pretty quiet, so it was fun to see him behind the scenes. They just finished game 2 in the last episode. I watched the finals. I'll probably finish it up tonight. Can't wait.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I finished the last one, the last episode last night. I don't want to spoil it for you, but I agree. It was super nice to see like McDavid, just another side of him that he doesn't show in public. He talks about being an introvert, so like the struggles that he goes through, like having to be the captain and be, the face of the league. But it's cool that he was able to show another side of him. Chucky, have you checked it out yet?
I just got the first episode done, so I got a little bit catching up to do, but I've seen all the viral clips that have been going around, and it seems like all the players are kind of mic'd up every game, and they picked guys that thrive and like the attention, and are pretty good with social media. So, but to see McDavid agree to do it, pretty crazy.
Yeah, Matty Kachuk was awesome as expected. He's just chilling in the pool with his sunglasses on. Like, what a life that guy's got.
He's the best. I think it's in that second last episode too, where there's like just a small like slow motion video of him just coming out of the pool, putting his sunglasses on.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this guy was made for the camera. It's cool. It's good to see for hockey, though. I think it's really good for the sport, giving people another inside look of the sport and really seeing, because you see that with the NBA, you see that with the NFL and all these behind the scenes kind of packages and shows, and it's cool for the NHL to have something like that again.
Yeah, definitely would. If you didn't like hockey and you watched that, you would definitely be roped in and start checking it out, following at least those players for sure.
For sure, and uncensored too, it's great. I think it's needed. Because you see some of those clips that they shared before that were censored. That's like, this sounds super weird. Like, sports fans and casino lovers, listen up. Get started with DualBits' sports welcome offer and enjoy up to $100 in free bets. The perfect way to kick off your betting journey. Feeling confident about this weekend's UFC fights? Step into our UFC jackpot. Predict the fight winners and method of victory to win a 1 Bitcoin jackpot. Plus, there's $2,000 guaranteed for the top 20 on the leaderboard. Want even more control? Try our Request a Bet feature. Create your own personalized bets 24/7 on DualBits' Discord or Telegram football channels. You name it, we price it. If you love great odds, DualBits has got you covered with mega boosts and flash odds to take your experience to the next level. For casino lovers, we've got 2 live tournaments. Play in the DualBits Originals $10,000 tournament or join Mystic Max Playtime Tournament with Conor McGregor himself, boosting player points. There's also our $5,000 daily leaderboard and $10,000 weekly leaderboard, where you can enjoy a 3 times boost on sports wagers. Want even more? Check out DualBits' original games. They're fast-paced, fun, and easy to play. We've got more news for you. Follow DualBits Threads on Instagram for exclusive DualBits merch or visit dualbits.shop to see the full collection. Get ready to embrace a lifestyle beyond limits. Head to dualbits.com to explore it all. Murls, so after you were done playing, like how actually, let me ask this way. How did you get connected with the Chiclets boys? Did you know them throughout your playing career, and then how did Game Notes come about?
Yeah, so me and Whit played together his first few years. We were roommates in Wilkes-Barre in the lockout and roommates in Pittsburgh the year after. So we stayed in contact and we're great friends the whole time, all through pro. We end up playing against each other in the KHL. We would hang out in the summers, blah, blah, blah. So I was always in touch with him. I knew Biz from the training camps in Wilkes-Barre. I never really played with him. So just when I got done playing, I went down to Philly. I did an interview with them. Just come down. Whit's like, come down, hang out for a night. We'll go to a game. We'll do an interview. You'll get out of here. Cool. The year after COVID, I started coaching bantam hockey in Rochester, New York, with my buddy Timmy Conley and Jim Lorenz. And I was just coaching. I was doing skills for the organization. I was thinking of just getting into stuff like that. Maybe even going coaching juniors, then keep trying to climb the ladder. I didn't know. So I did all that. And during that time, Whit just messaged me. He's like, hey, do you want to make some NHL bets for us tonight? We have this new sports book. We've got to make some picks. I'm like, yeah, sure. Like I can do that. So I would just be getting ready for practice and I would cook up some parlays and stuff and send them off to him. And then it just built from there. And he's like, oh, well, next time put it into a blog, write a blog for us. Oh, okay, I can do that. And then it just kept building from there. And I think I did a couple more interviews and then they would have me on just to talk some gambling. It just kept building from there kind of. And I was like, oh, I kind of wanted to do a gambling show, just quick 10-minute gambling show. But then Army, we met up with Army and we started all like brainstorming and we came up with, let's do our own little show. Because the I don't know, the hunger for Chiclets is everybody wanted 2 episodes a week or 3 episodes a week. Those guys couldn't pull that off. So they said, all right, we'll get you guys to do a Chiclets, but not Chiclets. And that's how Game Notes started. Me and Army just got together and it started once a month. And now we're once a week, every Friday, 12 noon, live.
That's awesome.
EBR.
We'll see Zach on there every
Everybody
once in a while.
rides.
Our European German insider.
Everybody rides.
Right,
I've been following you for quite some time, even before you're doing the game notes. I'd see you go on like 19-2 runs and be like, how does this guy know so much about
Yeah.
like European hockey? And then I look at your hockey DB. You've pretty much played in every single league over here. So pretty nice that. And like, when did you start gambling? Like,
Yeah,
were you
yeah. Yeah, well,
pretty
I've
young?
gambled my whole life. We were playing $5 blackjack in the Pee Wee locker rooms back in the day, and playing the dollar 31 and AC Doocy and all those games. But yeah, it's kind of forgot about that part of the story. In Rochester, same thing. I did the NHL parlay one night, and I think I tweeted it. I had maybe 1,000 followers on Twitter. I tweeted out the NHL parlay I did for them, and it won. And I was sitting there the next day just looking at games in Finland, and I don't know what even made me do it, but I tweeted out this game in Finland that was going to win. I knew the teams, I knew the guys. I think I saw a goalie was out or something, and I put it out on Twitter, and they won 6-0. So people started going crazy. The next day, they're like, "Oh, give us another one, give us another one." So I gave another one, and then it just they won 8-0 or something. And that European thirst for European hockey grew from there. I was like, wow, all these people want to watch European hockey or gamble on it at least. And at that time, like you said, I knew all the rinks, I knew the bad travel, I know the bad locker rooms. I had a lot more buddies that were still playing, so I would get some scoops here and there on those. For instance, the one time CSK Moscow, I text my buddy out of nowhere. No, just because it was in Riga. I'm like, hey, what's going on up in Riga? Like, did you go to a casino last night? He's like, I wouldn't know. We sent our junior team because the game doesn't matter. I'm like, oh, okay. Riga's worse than the league. CSK is number one, so they're like plus 890 or something. So I tweeted that out, and that one hit, and people went bananas. Like, oh my god. So I used to have a lot of inside scoops, but I'm still getting some here and there.
I should follow that a little bit closer because Chucky's banned me from making any NHL bets as part of our brand deal now because I've lost a few good ones.
Yeah, it's tough. Tough sledding early in the NHL too.
Yeah. I mean, I would have had the Hawks pick the other night if I didn't also pick who was it that had to go with them? There was another game that got the Hawks won the preseason game for once, and then the other team that we picked lost. So, and then bet on them against Utah, and Utah slapped them around. So it's like, tough.
Yeah, I'd stay away from the Hawks this year.
I mean, I think they'll do a little bit better. Like I'm hoping. I would have liked to see a couple more moves. Like they added some good parts like Bertuzzi and Turbo, but I think, and I know that I'm not very good with patience. I'm sure they're being a little bit more patient with their team, especially with Bedard and stuff like that. But I think they could have been a playoff team if they made a couple more moves this year, potentially. What do you guys think?
Yeah, they got a lot to fill up. That Mrazek does good enough though in net. I feel like he keeps them in all the games. But yeah, I guess you're right. They got to be patient. I same as you. I would go and spend the money. I know people want to come play in Chicago, play with
Yeah.
Bedard, but if you get the guys now, they won't be good. Like those good free agents won't be good in 5 years when Bedard is really, really good. I guess that's how you got to kind of think about it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. What would you say is your overall best experience playing the game of hockey throughout all the years, through junior, through college, through the pros? Do you have one that sticks out or a couple that stick out to you?
Well, yeah, I think playing at RPI was probably it because I'd played away my whole life. I played in Syracuse my whole life. To get to come home and play in front of my family, my grandparents, and just kind of reward my brother and my parents for all the sacrifices they made to play there. That was something really special. Everything else, kind of equal. So I think that's the one that really stuck out.
That's awesome.
Did you enjoy playing in Albany? I think I played like half a season there. I guess
Yeah,
that's not too far from your hometown, right?
Yeah, that was the same thing. That's when I signed with Colorado. I knew I was going to get sent down to Albany, and that was the main reason I wanted to go there, was to do that again. I got to be at home, hang out with my family, let them see me play. At the time, I thought I didn't have many years left in me, so I said, "Oh, I'm going to let them see me play for one more year." And yeah, that was all right. I got to live in my house, hang out with my friends. It was actually pretty tough on me because you know how it is. Like you go out Sunday night with your team, maybe Tuesday night with your team or Wednesday night, whenever the game was. But then I'm getting roped into the weekends with my buddies that are all like teachers and stuff. So I'm out Friday night playing the Saturday game. I'm out Saturday night playing the Sunday game. So that was a rough year on me that way. But I thought I played well. It was pretty easy to play when you had Keith O'Coin passing you pucks. But that was definitely a fun year too. That was probably my most fun pro year with those experiences for the family getting to see me.
How was it playing with Sid? And both of you guys have played for Pittsburgh and played with Sid. And obviously, Chucky and I talked about it last week or the week before. You sign another $8.7 million contract, keeping that superstition going. But how was it as a young guy and playing with a guy like Sid when you entered the league and you got drafted by Pittsburgh, so as soon as you got to the pros, you were playing with a guy like that. How was that for you?
Yeah, so that was the highlight probably of my career, but I didn't get to play as much, so it wasn't as good as when I got to play at RPI or Albany when I would actually play and score. But yeah, I got to play with Sid his rookie year. It was also Mario's last year. So that was really cool.
That's cool.
Like I said, I was fourth line, penalty kill, but Sid was my roommate, so I hang out with him a lot on the road and we grew a good friendship, but I only lasted I think I got hurt in the 50th game or something. I played 41 games, a lot of healthy scratches. So I didn't get the whole experience of him for a full year. And again, it was his rookie year, but just knowing he was going to do that, like all he talked about was winning Stanley Cups and being the best. And it's been fun to watch him. I think he might be better now than he was at 18 or 19 somehow.
Yeah, it's insane to see how well he's still doing at his age. Like I always hear about his off seasons and how serious he still takes the game, how hard he works, and I mean it's an inspiration to young guys and every guy that enters the league, knowing that he's played this long and at that high of a level. You see a lot of guys after a certain age, obviously in the league, they start to take their smaller dips, and himself, I don't feel like it's been taking a big dip. The team itself has, because they've lost guys, but which kind of sucks for Sid. But I mean it's more than admirable to see what he's done. And I mean, I feel like that he sets the bar for every player coming into the league and guys that are still in the league, they may be missing a step during the summer. They may be, taking a little bit too much time off, and then they see Sid and it's like, he's just going still.
Yeah, he's a specimen. He's sick to watch. It sucks that they're terrible. I don't see them being good at all this year. I mean, they got rinsed last night 6-0. Rangers are good, but yeah, I hope somehow they turn it around quickly. But they're almost going to be. They should have just lost 2 years ago. They should have just like tanked completely, or even last year to make this a little quicker. Now they're just hanging in the middle. They're going to hang in the middle again this year, and they're just going to be mediocre for a long time.
How old were you when you decided to shut her down? I saw there was like a couple years where you didn't play and you kind of came back and played in the second league or something in Sweden. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was 37. I think I was like no, I was 39. I think I was 39. I wanted to go to 40. I was in South Korea and I was taking some pills like make you feel a little like warmed up, a little better. And I forgot them one game, and it was freezing cold in this rink. Knees were killing me. My coach came down. He's like, "You got to move your legs." I'm like, "I'm trying. They won't go. They will not go. They will not move." And my knees were just killing me. And it took so much preparation, like before every practice, before every game, and then after, and where it became no fun. Before then, I never, after I left North America, I had no injury problems at all. It was always fun to go to the rink. That last year, it was tough getting ready. It wasn't fun to play. So that's why I stopped. And then I moved to Sweden, got married, had a kid, and those 2 years off, my wife was at a grocery store and ran into a coach's wife from here in like the third league here. And she's like, "Oh, our team's got a bunch of injuries and sickness. He doesn't even have enough guys to practice." And Johanna's like, "Oh, well, Matt could come practice for him and like just fill in on the lines." So I went there and I planned on just practicing. I got in there. I thought maybe my knees were going to hurt. My knees felt great. So I do the 40-minute practice with these guys. And after the practice, the guy Monson, he was a coach. He's kind of a buddy of mine. And he's like, "Murls, come in here." And I'm like, hey, that was fun. I'm like, you want me to come again tomorrow? He's like, no, we have a game. We want you to play tomorrow. And I said, oh no, like, no, I'm not playing in games, man. I haven't I actually had just gotten back from Chiclets Cup in Vegas. I'm like, buddy, I was just in Vegas for a week. I just needed to sweat it out. He goes, well, tonight's the deadline to sign guys. So if you want to sign and play the rest of the year, you'd have to do it tomorrow. He goes, why don't you just sign now and come play tomorrow? I said, all right, I'll play, but just fourth line, don't play me at all. He goes, no, you're playing first line, power play, penalty kill. I'm like, buddy, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna have a heart attack. So lo and behold, I come to the game the next day and I'm just waiting. Like each shift, I said, all right, I'm gonna hit that wall. I'm gonna hit that wall. Never hit the wall. Felt great. So I ended up playing the rest of the season there, 12 or 15 games. And around like the 12th game, I hit the wall and I was done. Like I was showing up to these last few games. I couldn't move my legs again. So that was really the end of it. But that was fun because my daughter was, I think, 1.5, 2 at the time. So she technically got to see me play, which wasn't part of the plan.
Awesome.
But, so that's those games you see on elite prospects now. It was low level in Sweden, but it was fun.
Do you live in Sweden full time?
Yeah, we're here right now. We're here probably 8 or 9 months of the year. We're building a house in New York now, so we're gonna flip it the other way, and we'll do 8 or 9 months, basically the school hockey season in New York, and then come here for the summers.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Murls, thanks so much for joining the show. Chucky, do you got anything else you want to touch on before we let him go?
No, thanks a lot for coming on. I want to apologize for your Champions League pick you picked the other day for us to beat Freiburg, and we lost 9-3. The boys didn't show up, so
yeah, I screwed that up. I meant to take the over because I saw somebody you guys had your backup goalie in or something.
Both teams were
I
playing
had
the
the over was
so.
the plan, and I somehow clicked on the wrong thing and made the wrong graphic. So I just gotta eat that one. And then the way you guys lost, like, could you have kept it close? No, it's 6-0. Like, and I'm just getting chirped online. But I couldn't say anything. Like, oh, I meant to take the over, guys.
It's like fucking boy, Chuck.
Yeah, way to go, Chucky.
Yeah,
seriously.
So, yeah, that's Berlin. But you guys are always good to us. Berlin always takes care of us.
Oh yeah.
When's your guys' next game? Saturday, Sunday,
we
Friday,
play
Sunday,
Friday, Sunday. Yeah.
Friday, Sunday. All right. All right. Yeah. Good luck. I'm gonna see you guys win another championship.
Hoping so. Going for 4 out of the last 5, I think. So
yeah, that's wild.
That's sick.
Wild.
Keep it going.
Before we let you go, let's get a bet of the weekend. Murls, do you have any NHL picks this weekend? Either tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday that you want to rip off, and Chucky, maybe I'll follow so I don't lose us some more money.
Yeah, so I got game notes tomorrow, Friday, where I'll be giving all my picks, but I will give you a little sneak peek. It's not hard to find this one. It's my rule number 2, EBR rules. Bruins day games at home. They always seem to win for us when they have them. They get Saturday. They got the LA Kings at home. I think the Bruins play tonight, Montreal. I assume Swayman's in. Swayman will be definitely in for that game, I think, at home Monday or Saturday, 1 p.m. versus the Kings. No Doughty. Bruins, Saturday, EBR Rule 2. That's my play of the week.
There it is. Dual Bits Bet of the week. Thank you, Murls. We appreciate you joining the show. We've been trying to get you on for a while. It's awesome that we got the schedules lined up to make it happen. Thank you for sharing your stories and the bets. Hopefully we can make some money. And best of luck with game notes tomorrow and heading into the weekend.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, boys.
Awesome. Thank you. Take care, guys.